Hi there, I'm Gary, welcome to my channel. Today I'm trying a new product that I never knew I needed, but which is now by my bench all the time, and that's an ultrasonic knife. This one is the Unirox Q1, and for full transparency, I was sent it to me by Unirox as a review sample. However, they haven't told me what to say, they haven't given me a script to follow, they just want an honest assessment of the product, and that's what they and you are going to get. If you do enjoy the video, please remember to give it the old imperial thumbs up on the like button. Make sure you've subscribed and hit the notification bell. All of these are free and a great way to show your support. So let's make a start now by looking at what I was sent in the box. Okay, so this is the box I got this thing from. You can see taken off the address label. And box opens up. Inside there's a little sheet that's obviously been added later, but it's a description of what each type of blade is best for, which is actually really useful. That would be useful to keep handy. And inside is this actually quite smart looking carry case in here, and it just zips up like so. Get that out of the way. So in here we have the instruction leaflet, which is excellent. We have the knife itself, we have the power supply, and we have a power cable. I don't know, this is a review sample, so it's got a European plug in it. I'm going to guess if they're selling in the UK, they may have to have a UK plug, a 3-point plug. Obviously in the US they'll have a 2-prong plug as well. I'm not sure about it, but as I say, this is a review sample. It might be that they're in Europe already, and so they've got European chargers. I don't know. And over here we have some very useful things. We have the little accessories that we need, spare blades and all the rest of it, and we have these little finger socks. Now these are woven from an aramid fibre, and these are cut proof. And I've got a pair of full-size gloves for these for doing butchery things in the kitchen, you know, for cutting up big meat joints and stuff like that, or for using a mandolin, you know, those very thin slicey things, because the blades are really sharp. If you've got a cut proof glove on, you ain't going to hurt yourself. So it's really important to have those. Okay, well that's the box itself. I'll just have a quick look at what we get in the accessory bag as well. This here is what we get in the accessory pack. So you can see there's a load of spare blades. There's a spare ceramic blade. It comes fitted with a ceramic blade, and there's a spare. There's a tungsten steel blade, and then there are regular carbon steel blades. There's this one that looks like it's brilliant for carving through much thicker things. It's an edge sharpened blade. There's these narrow chisel blades, broader flattish blade, not a complete chisel blade, but slightly blunter. That would be a sort of a stronger tip. You have these really quite fine tip detail ones, and then finally a couple of blades that are much more like the sort of number 11 scalpels that modelers are used to using. You also get 2 spare blade holders. These are the things that go into the knife, fit inside the chuck and just hold the actual blade. We'll have a look at that in a bit, because I'll show you how the blades are changed. You have 4 spare grub screws here. These are the things that tighten the holder and the chuck around it, and of course a hex key that fits these. I'm kind of really impressed you get four spares of these. You know, that's the sort of thing you're going to lose if you're not very careful. You are going to lose. So a nice selection of blades for the sort of things I do. I'm going to guess these detail blades, angle blades, are going to be quite important. The little chisel blades might be important. I think, well, I'll see. They could be useful for me. These definitely for getting rid of 3D print supports and stuff. These could be useful if I'm doing a diorama and just want to cut some foam and things like that, in large bits of foam, and get some shaping on foam, I suspect. I'm not sure about these 2 yet. They probably will be useful, but I don't know quite whether I need their particular skills and talents, as it were, when most of what I'm going to be cutting is going to be very thin bits of plastic resin. But they're useful to have. Of course, model making are not the only people who these are aimed at. So I'll put all these back in again, and then I'll show you how the knife starts up and how we work. Okay, so if you want to use it, the first thing you have to do is plug the power lead in. The power goes into this socket at the back here. It's like a neoprene or something protective flap there, keeps the dirt out. There we go, and you can see, hopefully see that this light comes on here, white. Now to turn it, I wouldn't turn it on just yet, actually. Take the cap off and take the protection off. Instantly, to take the cap off, they recommend you to sort of pull it sideways and take it off. That's the easiest way to do it. Now, when you turn this on, when you plug it in and start turning it on, the first thing it's going to do is go into something called a frequency sweep. A little blue light here will go blue. It only takes about a second or two, but what that does is it sweeps through its range of usable frequencies to find one that exactly resonates with the blade you're using and the setup and positions and everything. Because the blades weigh different amounts, a ceramic blade here will weigh a different amount to, say, a steel blade of the same size. It needs to find the right frequency to operate at, and to do it, it just sweeps through the frequencies available to it and thinks, oh, that's the one I want to use, and that's what it will use during this time. So it's just a little thing it does. So you press the on button for a second or two, the light goes blue, it frequency sweeps, and then the light goes green. So there you go, done, and it's ready to go. You can press it again, the light goes yellow, and that's a high power setting. Press it again and it switches off. So hold it on for about a second or two, it goes blue and then green, and then you're ready to rock and roll. Next thing to talk about is changing the blade. First thing, make sure you're not plugged into the power. Do not do this when you're plugged into the power. It's a really, really dumb thing to do. Okay, don't do it. So make sure you're not plugged in. Then use the Allen key provided just to undo the, just a couple of turns to do it, to undo the grub screw here. Then out pops the blade. This is the ceramic blade here. I'm going to put in a metal blade, a very fine tip metal blade, and so it slides into the carrier, then push it into the body of the chuck. Do be very careful of the tip of this. Then just tighten this up. Now I would tighten it first with that because it's easy to use the longer arm first, and then just cinch it up just like a tiny bit, just so you want some resistance, but you don't want to be really turning into it because you'll thread it or you'll break it, whatever. You use your sense, use your good sense, and then you're ready to go. So that's the blade changed over. When you put it in this time and you plug it in this time, I'll show you, it should do a frequency sweep because it's a different weight of blade. Again, press it, does a frequency sweep first, and then it's ready to go. It's as quick as that. I'm going to try and use this. So I think the idea is you stroke the knife rather than trying to use a knife like you would maybe a scalpel and just sort of push it through. You're just sort of stroking it, and the idea is don't put too much force on it, and that seems to work very well. It does cut. See, you wouldn't be able to do it like that with a scalpel blade. And off it comes, and that's grand. That's ready for me to do some more stuff. Then I can take the whole thing off the bottom of the frame later. So this is the thing I've been most interested in, is here we have This is a harder grade of 3D print material, and it includes this brake line here, and that this bit here is the support. So I just need to cut these two little bits here, but without affecting these lines here. Now, I would not be doing this with a scalpel, let me tell you right now. So let's see if our knife can do it. There we go. Yep, it can. So what I can now do is just remove that piece down here somewhere. There we go. And it's free. And I can clean up these edges very gently. There we go. There we go. Now that's better than I would get with a scalpel, I've got to be honest. As I said before, I never knew I needed one of these, but it really does make a difference when taking small parts off a frame, most especially with resin parts. It enables you to cut resin or plastic supports cleanly and with no real effort of pushing down on the blade. This means far less likelihood of doing damage to the most delicate pieces or seeing them ping off the frame and be eaten by the carpet monster. Now, I'm sure there are a whole host of other uses for an ultrasonic knife in various hobby settings, but certainly in model making, I think it's something you could really do with, and the Unirox Q1 does it very well. As I mentioned, the kit that I had came with a European power plug and I had to run it through an adapter. However, I'm told the knife will work with any power supply that connects using a USB-C plug, and this is mentioned in the instruction. Now, the supply needs to provide between 5 and 15 volts as a minimum, with 15 volts needed to run the higher power setting. Something like an Apple iPhone charger that prioritizes current over voltage isn't really strong enough for this, so do check the output of the power supply you want to use, or use an adapter like I did. So that's it for now. I hope you found it useful. If you did, then please do remember to hit the like button, subscribe and ding the notification bell. Thank you so very much for watching today, and goodbye.